Alright, time for another WrestleDiary, more New Japan G1 Climax Tournament stuff. Day 9, I feel like I'm slowly making some progress. I'll also do Day 10, obviously as you've seen from the title, but I haven't watched Day 10 yet. So I'm going to try and do this in segmented ways now so that the matches are more fresh and I don't have to remember 10 matches at once. Even though I have my notes, still it kind of helps, I think. So Day 9, we had Togi Makabe versus Yuji Nagata, who's still my MVP of the tournament. Loving Yuji Nagata, though in this match he had some weird shit on his back. Had to Google it. It appears to be something called cupping. Not that cupping. I don't know what the practice is, but basically they have stuff put on parts of the skin, I suppose, and they kind of heat it up or make it really cold. It kind of burns the skin, but it's supposed to be kind of muscle therapy. It's not been proven to actually do anything. And from what I've kind of looked into online, Yuji Nagata does that quite a bit, and he kind of has like different patterns put into his back. It just makes me feel a little bit sick looking at it, to be honest with you. But the match itself, Makabe, Yuji Nagata, that weird cupping stuff aside, really good stuff. You know, good solid work. 3 3/4 stars, which will be a theme for Day 9. Didn't quite reach the 4-star mark for me. You know, probably my least favorite Nagata match so far. But you know, hard-hitting stuff. There was a great part where Nagata was just laying into Makabe when he was on the floor, proper forearming the shit out of his. Like, these guys really go for it when they really go for it, and which is pretty much every match. So, Kota Ibushi versus Bad Luck Fale. I was really interested to see how this one would turn out, given how how great Kota Ibushi is and how limited Bad Luck Fale can be. But once again, a really good match with Fale. Continued to be impressed by him and his size. The kickouts were a lot better in this match. I've talked about how Bad Luck Fale is so massive that when he pins someone, it's really unrealistic when they kick out and he kind of moves off and it just looks really bad. But in this one, it actually looked a bit more legit, which is good. I didn't like the ending. Just because I don't like his finisher, Bad Luck Fale. Like when he picks someone up with one hand and then does the kind of the thumb strike with the other, and it just doesn't look like he's given them enough momentum. Like with a choke slam, you can kind of suspend your disbelief. With this one, it just doesn't look like he's really doing much, and it's all on the opponent, and so I really don't like it. And Kota Ibushi sold it like a motherfucker, but I mean it just didn't seem to warrant it, so it kind of took me out of the ending a little bit. But I love his kind of release powerbomb. That's an incredible finisher. He should just stick to that, I think. So 3 3/4 stars for this match as well. Just because of that, I just felt like it kind of weakened the ending a little bit. Then we had Hiroki Goto, or as I like to think of him, Jacked Up Glenn from The Walking Dead. Same hair, same mustache. Versus Zack Sabre Jr. Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. Another 3 3/4 star match. Didn't quite reach the 4-star. They worked well together, but again, it's very limiting when Zack Sabre Jr.'s style is based around the same stuff over and over again. And I suppose most of these guys are. You know, I mean, in every New Japan match that I've seen, they will go to that forearming each other in the face and just taking turns. You know, to see who can kind of outman each other, and then chopping. And then forearms again. So I mean, it's not like, you know, Zack Sabre Jr. is the only guy who's formulaic, but I feel like it does limit his matches somewhat. I'd be more impressed with him as a wrestler if he could work different styles, and he can to a degree. But this was a really good match, regardless. Just wasn't quite, again, the 4-star mark. Also, I loved the moonsault off the kind of balcony there in the Kota Ibushi match. That was a really cool spot. Then we had Yoshihashi versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Another 3 3/4 star match. Really good. Didn't quite reach that upper echelon for me. And there was kind of one thing I really didn't like about the match. I think probably played into the fact that I had to take a few marks off it. And that's one of Yoshihashi's finishers, where he kind of hooks him in for the suplex, and then he grabs the arm underneath their leg. And those moves look cool, but you know, the opponent has to hand you their arm to let themselves get hooked into it, and that just doesn't work. That doesn't work. It's just like, I'm trying to think of an equivalent. It completely shatters the illusion. And I haven't really seen it happen with that move with Yoshihashi, except for this one, where Tanahashi is bent over and he literally just, there you go, just kind of hands his arm underneath his own leg to take the move, or to get, you know, set up for the move. And It's a big no-no. Like, it just find a way to pull it in yourself. Don't let the opponent just give you their hand, because then it just looks like complete cooperation. Another note I should add, I suppose, that I've noticed with New Japan is that they have guys around the ring with microphones, and you'll pick up a lot of things that the guys are saying in the ring. So really, I've yet to see or hear any person calling stuff. You know, I've seen a Will Ospreay match where I could hear him calling stuff in New Japan, but I haven't heard anyone calling it. It's really impressive. Either they're absolute magicians at it, which, you know, you kind of need to be a great wrestler, but or maybe they're just that good at working that they've kind of, you know, they can really freestyle it. Anyway, the main event was Tomohiro Ishii versus Tetsuya Naito. Holy shit, halfway through this match I thought, this is building up well, but it just feels like there's not enough heat. Like, they haven't got the crowd where they want them. And then holy shit, the last 5 minutes. Like, this would be top 3 of the tournament so far for me. I adored this match because I didn't for a second believe that Naito was losing. I for sure felt he was going to beat Ishii, and just the near falls were dragging me in so much. I was so invested in this match. To a degree I probably hadn't been for the whole G1. Like, I was just like, come on, hit the brainbuster, hit it, you know. And he hit it, and I was like, oh my god, he's going to kick out, and he didn't. I was like, what? You know, so I kind of went onto these different levels of excitement and disbelief, and you know, when you get taken on that ride, that's what wrestling's all about. So 4 3/4 out of 5 for me. You know, really just a phenomenal match that had a bit of lag in the middle, you know, kind of, but they really built it up well. And great little spot where Naito was just forearming Ishii about 20 times. He just no-sold it, hit Naito, and Naito just staggered back to the corner. I'm really loving Naito's selling in longer matches. I noticed the longer he goes, and the more his opponent brings to him, Naito really makes his opponent look good in the way that he sells, I think. And he's the way he backpedals and stuff. I really like Naito, really growing on me. I do think, though, he's going to the well too much of hitting his finisher, the Destino. He'll do it out of nowhere. Like, it's not the full setup, but someone's got him on their shoulders, and he'll hit it out of nowhere. And it's such a cool, like, oh wow, his finisher. And they always kick out, you know. So I'd like to see that happen where he hits it out of nowhere during another move and actually wins the match. That'd be really cool. And yeah, just I love Ishii as well. So it was great to see these two work together. They work together well. And what can I say? I was just so invested that yeah, one of my favorites of the tournament, if not maybe my favorite perhaps. So that's it for day 9. I'm gonna go make a bacon sandwich and watch the day 10 matches. And this has already gone on for like 8 minutes, so holy shit, this is going to be a long one, but who cares? Not many people are watching this anyway. I'm just doing this for myself, I suppose, at this point, but it's fun. And I feel like I'm making some steam and catching up before the weekend, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to, unless I go mental and marathon all these matches. So, less talking, more watching. I'll catch up with you in just a second with the day 10 stuff. Alright, I finished day 10. I had some delicious bacon sandwiches. Let's get right on with it. Yano versus Evil. I gave this 3 stars, and the match is probably about 2-3 minutes long, and so by some people's scale they would probably just rate this like, you know, a nothing match, but I thought it was a really good couple of minutes. Like, you know, Yano going for his usual Yano stuff, and Evil kind of countering it, getting low blowed by Yano in a really nicely choreographed spot with the referee, so he managed to low blow Evil without the referee seeing it. And then Evil managed to reverse whatever he was doing and hit his finisher and won the match, and was still selling his crotch afterwards. Just like it felt like he escaped. But I just thought it was a really well executed match, and I was just thankful that it was a short one. So I really liked it, actually. So yeah, like, again, I'm not writing Yano off. I'm just not the biggest fan, but you know, he's good at what he does. I'll give him that. Minoru Suzuki versus Tama Tonga. I'm gonna rate this 4 stars, which probably seems high if you've seen the match. I think I've been looking on the lionmarks.com to some of the, you know, translations from the commentary, and one of the things they said was, how long were they in the ring for? 10 seconds? Most of this match is in the crowd. But I love the opening spot where Suzuki came out, you know, towel over his head, he had his guy behind him holding up the flag, and Tama Tonga comes out, takes the guy out and starts holding up Suzuki's flag and walking behind him, ambushes him at ringside. They go fighting through the crowd, I mean literally through the crowd. They're just, just beating the shit out of each other. They get back to the ring, they go back out again, they go through the other side of the crowd. It just felt like a fight. It felt like a scrap. It was something different. It felt convincing. It was raw. It wasn't clean. It wasn't kind of nice and shiny and crisp. They were falling over each other and punching each other. Like, come on, motherfucker. Like, this was just a proper scrap, and I loved it. And then they got in the ring. Didn't go too much longer than that. There's a nice sequence where he had Suzuki down for the count. Referee was out of the ring. And it wasn't one of those, like you see it in WWE all the time. But here it doesn't happen as much. So it felt like, I don't know, I just felt like the referee was down spot worked so much better when it's in, a promotion, an event, whatever you want to call it, where it's not done that much. When it's done in WWE like multiple times a night, here I think I saw it maybe once in the G1, maybe not even that. Like, it just, those kinds of things that you do, the kind of the trickery, the deceiving the referee, things like that, and whatever. If you do it in a limited capacity, then it makes each time they do it more successful, I think. I don't know. It just, if I'd seen that in WWE, I'd be like, oh, of course the referee was down. I'd roll my eyes. But here I was like, oh, the referee's down. Shit, he had him, It just, and this is where I start to see how badly WWE get it with the overuse of just repetitive pieces of business that they do all the time. It dilutes it so much that it doesn't have the same effect. So I was a big fan of the match, actually. I thought Tama Tonga showed a lot of great kind of fight. Suzuki was great too. I mean, that's kind of his kind of match, just a proper scrap. But I really liked the match a lot. The story of it was good, even if there wasn't a lot of in-ring action. And that to me isn't what makes a match. It's the story and how it conveys something. And if it can convey something different, like it did in this match, then I'm quite impressed by it. Sanada versus Michael Elgin, 4 stars. So this is a match that went like, 15, 18 minutes, mostly in the ring. Lots of, competitive, athletic stuff going on. Big moves, false finishes. Really damn good match. And I rated it the same as the Suzuki Tama Tonga match, which had, maybe about 3 moves in it. So again, to me, I do rate these things on differences. It's hard to rate 2 matches that are completely different. But, I mean, I rate them on how good I think they are at achieving the story they're trying to tell. And this one was an athletic competition between 2 wrestlers, and it told that story damn well. So it was a really good match. Really like Michael Elgin a lot, and Sanada's pretty damn good too. So that's that one. Then we had Kenny Omega versus Satoshi Kojima. This was an interesting one. Kenny Omega was very strong in his first 3 matches at G1, and he lost to Michael Elgin, which is a big shock to me, because I felt that they were going to keep Kenny Omega really strong. So coming into this match, you'd expect Omega to kind of convey in his character in the ring a bit of kind of, tail between his legs kind of thing. But he actually was more confident than ever. And facing an older veteran like Kojima, he was really not taking the match seriously. And to be honest, it started to rub me the wrong way. It just didn't seem to fit. And I might be reading too much into it here, but by the end of the match, I thought that the storytelling here was phenomenal, because you had Kenny Omega coming in after a big loss, and he was acting confident. He wasn't really taking Kojima seriously. He was kind of being a dick, and it felt like it was Kenny Omega trying to convince himself that, that he had this confidence. It felt like this internal conflict in this guy who had his confidence rocked by this loss in the G1, and the last match he had against Elgin. He had his t-shirt on, and the commentators were noting that the pants he was wearing were not like the ones he wears in serious matches. So it's almost like, Kenny Omega was trying to downplay this, as a character. He had his t-shirt on, and, Kojima's known for those chops. And I'll tell you one thing, Kojima, whenever I think of him, I think of those stupid chops and how goofy they look. But in this match, they looked good, because he looked like he was really trying to hurt Kenny Omega. He was really going for it, and his face looked like he meant it. Whereas in other matches, he just looked a bit goofy. But this one, it really worked, and then I was waiting for it. It was awesome. He ripped Kenny Omega's t-shirt off him and started chopping the shit out. A great little spot. And you saw Kenny kind of throughout the match losing that kind of self-confidence and just trying to win the match. And it was phenomenal. I thought it was a great match. And I just loved that kind of, the story that was told, mainly of Kenny Omega, but also of Kojima, this guy who's really trying to get a win and really trying to fight this younger guy and bring it to him and show him that he's not a pushover and he's not someone to be taken lightly like Kenny was taking him in the beginning of the match. So yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. Some great sequences towards the end, but mainly the storytelling really stood out. So it's a 4.5 out of 5 from me. And then the main event was Kazuchika Okada versus Juice Robinson, and Juice Robinson's been really growing on me. I remember when they did the G1 special in the USA, he was in the US title tournament in the quarterfinal. Didn't think much of him. Listening to Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, he's like, "Man, I really like this Juice Robinson kid," and I'm like, I really, because I didn't really find him that remarkable, but he must have saw something that was definitely there, because throughout this tournament I think Juice has been really good, and in this match again he really showed that fire that is just so believable. There's a spot in this, well, a point in this match where, you know, Juice is really he's getting his ass handed to him by Okada, who's, you know, he's the ace of the company, he's the top dog. And it's a big match for Juice Robinson, the first time he's faced Okada one-on-one, and he got a bit of a comeback going. He got Okada down, and he was struggling with his knee, which was bothering him in the last match. So I like that story's continuing to being told, that his leg is bothering him. He pulled his knee pad down at one point to kind of, I guess, free up the tension. And there's a point where it looks like he's almost crying because he's so trying to will himself on, and it really, I thought that was fantastic storytelling, fantastic selling, acting, whatever you want to call it. And then there's another great moment where he's down and Okada is just like, it was translated on the lion marks as, "Come on, you bastard, get up, you know, come on, Juice, is that all you got?" And he was really, like, Okada was really heelish in this this screaming at Juice. And that really drew me further into the match, and there was a couple of really good reversals of Pulp Friction, and then a couple of Rainmakers, and then obviously, you know, Juice was pinned by Okada. But I thought this was another standout match, 4.5 out of 5 for me. Juice continues to impress, and I see big things for him if he keeps this up. He's got such a great babyface fire. You really want to root for him. You know, he looks like he's in there to win it, but he also looks like he cares about wrestling so much. That it means so much to him. Like, it's effortless, you know, and it can only mean that he really does love wrestling that much. I don't think you can fake that much. He really, I mean, one of the things I was thinking with Yoshihashi, he's a good wrestler. He does things well. He executes things well. He sells, you know, decently, but I never feel like Yoshihashi is into it. There's a disconnect there. I just don't feel like his heart's fully in it. I don't know. I'm sure it is. I'm not taking anything away from the guy, but there's just an element missing. A believability, perhaps. Juice, you know, while he's not, you know, the most impressive athlete in the world, or the most impressive bumper in the world, or, you know, whatever, I believe him more than most people. Like, I just believe in his character and in him as a wrestler. So there we go, that's it for days 9 and 10. Bit of a long one, but it is what it is. I'm going to roll on now with day 11, and I want to try and get caught up before the weekend. We'll see if that goes well. I don't know if it will. I've run out of things to say, so thank you for watching. Leave comments down below if you're watching along. I know you're probably not going to, though, which is fine. But I've done enough of these now that I need to finish them, so just let me talk about wrestling for a little bit longer, and we'll get back to movie stuff. And if there's anyone who's waiting for movie stuff, they wouldn't be listening to this video at this point anyway, so I don't know why I just said that. Thank you for watching. Mercifully, I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause